Another position that's constant throughout this presentation, and you have picked up on a lot of it before or some of it after this presentation, is the inconsistent position taken by the law enforcement officials in regard to polygraph examinations. You'll recall that Ms. Cooper, when she wrote me that letter in November of 2009, told me that polygraph information was not public information and nothing should be said about it. But her own office apparently doesn't recognize that rule. Because you'll recall that when Christopher Bush passed a polygraph test on January 28, 1977, that the following month her office told both the Detroit News and the Daily Tribune that Bush had passed this polygraph test. So her own office disobeys the rules. Then when the Bush polygraph examination is looked at by 3 other polygraphers, it's a secret. You can't pick and choose when you disclose that they passed or when they disclose that they failed. And as I've told you, we have that matter up before the Court of Appeals, and we told them that the law of common sense is that once you make a polygrapher report public, you should also make public any subsequent interpretations which are different. We're awaiting that ruling from the Court of Appeals, but I've also told you in the Bush investigation part of this what Pat Coffey told us he was told, and we've been told orally that that the 3 later polygraphs all agreed that Bush did not pass. Inconsistent. And then we got into the Gunnels matter. When Chris and I met with Gunnels in October of 2011, I think it was, he told us that on the first polygraph examination, he was told that he would be released from parole if the results were inconclusive. The polygrapher concluded that the results were inconclusive solely because he was using all the procedures the jailbirds exchange information on how to mess up a polygraph examination. Parole was still denied him until he cooperated, and he did decide to take the second polygraph. And we have read to you earlier in this presentation the exact words questions that he was asked, and the conclusion from the polygrapher that he stone cold flunked it. And then we got the Lamborghini case. And you'll recall when I told you about Lamborghini, I went down to see Detective Gray, and he says to me, "We have our first hard lead, Barry, since the task force was reformed. Somebody flunked a lie detector test. The first hard lead, somebody flunked a lie detector test. We're on the road. Gunnels flunks a lie detector test. Oh, that's secret. Bush flunks a lie detector test. That's a secret." Something in the order of consistency ought to apply to all of these readings, and once the results are made public, all the results should be made public in regard to that individual. And we read regularly that people are released from jail because they passed a polygraph test, or they're charged because they flunked one. But I think the results in this case are egregious, and that all of the information involving Bush in the regard to polygraph results of he or anybody else involved in this case should be consistent and should be given to the public.